Siemens and Convertine, there's a huge amount of the internal workings. We don't produce many of the towers. We do produce the electrical generation units and the control systems, so it isn't quite as clear-cut as you might think. There is a large supply chain, not as big as it should be, but there is a supply chain.
Gentlemen there with the red tie.
My question is for those who are concerned about visual impact of wind turbines. You know, that's a subjective issue. I like them, and there'll be a lot of people like them, lots of people don't like them. But the question is this: if you start to think about the consequence of not reducing our carbon emissions, the impact on our climate, and this is the overwhelming consensus of scientists, is that within 100 years we are going to raise temperature on this planet by around about 6 degrees. Give or take.
Okay, look, we're not taking speeches from the floor, we're taking questions. Gentleman with, no, come on, you've spoken already. Gentleman with the red tie. No, you can't monopolise the meeting, I'm sorry. You spoke earlier as well.
I'd just like to respond to an observation that there's one absolute finite resource in this country, and that is the countryside, the British countryside. Now, I'm 71, and throughout all my life, all I've ever seen is the countryside developed for new housing estates, for factories, for motorways. We just recently developed thousands of acres of countryside to put in the Birmingham Northern Relief Group, and now we're proposing to develop thousands more acres of countryside to put in HS2. Why do we not get politicians or governments that look back and think, good Lord, how much of the countryside are we destroying? Had we better not revamp, have a look at, we can't go on digging it up like this. Why aren't we getting this sort of reactive thing from the government to look at what's happened in the past and treat it with caution as to how we go on digging it? We can't go on digging it up.
Just show you how little value is put on it.
Yeah, because my understanding is that apart from the sea, which recycles carbon dioxide, the countryside does as well, the woodlands, the trees, the hedges.
Photosynthesis.
And yet we go on carving up the one thing that does help revitalise it. Government, please, politicians, why aren't you looking at this retrospectively and thinking we can't go on?
And it's the drive, it's the constant drive for extra population. And
Extra population, I'm afraid.
maybe we need a good plague. Gentleman at the very back.
It was an industrial estate. The majority of the projects I'm involved in, a single turbine on a farm will provide for the farm's needs to process crops and support food production, plus the surrounding villages.
Well, how do they do that? Because I've got the feeling meant to be grid, everybody got it. How can they supply a specific number of houses?
Okay, it's the equivalent.
Yeah, equivalent, I see.
Yes, so typically a single generator on a farm will be connected both to the farm itself and to the grid, and the electricity will, because of the way it flows, I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but because of the way it flows, it will supply the locality before it goes any further. So in theory and in practice, we're neutralising both the carbon footprint and the gross annual energy requirement of the farm where the turbine's sited, and typically plus the neighbouring villages.
Well, I was saying then that if there was power cuts in the neighbouring villages, the turbine would be okay.
No, okay. So when those who are controlling the grid, if there is a voltage drop due to lack of supply, they've got to cut out users. Now, if there is a generator in the middle of a community that's providing for that community, it is less likely that that community will be cut off than another community which is using but not generating.
By the way, Nigel made an interesting point in his introduction, and I just want to know whether you disagree He made the point that photovoltaics and wind farms cannot operate when there is a power cut.
Okay.
Is that true?
That's correct. So if there is a power, if there is a power cut, unless a generator has been set up as an off-grid system, which means it's either working with batteries or with a diesel generator combined, then if the grid is cut off, your renewable energy generator will be cut off as well.
So in fact, we are
Really
all
useful,
making assumptions that are going into it, and we're not all getting the benefit.
I was very strict with the gentleman from Whittington. I'm now feeling very guilty of being nasty at him, so I've got to be nasty to you too. Now, this gentleman hasn't asked the question.
Can I just ask the question? A lot of us are here because we're concerned about visual impact. TPRA have said it and we've very people stood up. So let's say the government sides we're not having wind. Okay, there are 150, mostly Tory politicians who are against it because it lands on their bit of land, okay, on their constituencies.
I'm Labour politicians too, by the way.
Mostly Tory. So what happens then if we say Lichfield and South Staffs we're not having wind? But I tell you what, we've just found loads of shale gas under the ground. Let's have a shale gas power station on Lichfield, because we don't want to transport the gas very far, we want to generate. Now this gentleman builds them, let's put one in Lichfield. What would we think, really? Now from my perspective, we're here, whether we like it or not, because we're NIMBYs. We don't want it in our backyard. So if somebody next door says, I want to stick a power station in Lincolnshire, we all say, God for that, HSP. God for that, it's not on my plot, they can have a problem. But the problem from a government's perspective is you'll have village halls and church halls full of people in Lincolnshire where other places. So I think we need to ask ourselves, what would we rather see? We want to see a great big gas power station belting out stuff, coal power station like Rugeley.
Can I just answer that one, please? This is why I said
You would be the person...
Let him answer.
This is why I said earlier that I believe that planners should zone areas where these go. I don't think that property owners, developers should decide where we have supermarkets, houses, roads and all the rest of it. We have a planning department in every district which should zone where houses go, where shops go, where commercial properties go, but they should also add to that list where they think it's acceptable to put renewables. Now, I don't have a problem with a few renewables. I have a place in France, we go over there, the place is full of wind turbines. I don't find them sinister and I don't find them a problem, but they're miles and miles away from settlements. They've got 5.5 times more land than we have, so wherever they put them over there, they're miles away from you. You only see them if you drive past them. Now we have to adopt the same formula here. Stop putting these things in people's back gardens. We've got plenty of places to put them where there's nobody living. That's where they need to go. And the planners need to zone this. Planners decide where we live. They should decide where we have renewables, I'm afraid.
Right. We're approaching, thank you very much, Nigel, we're approaching 1 o'clock. Before I thank the top table for coming along today, I'm going to do a straw poll. I know you've all got these little blue and you're going to be given red buttons and things to put on the chart outside, but just out of interest, how many people here would welcome a wind farm in this vicinity? Hands up. Straw poll. Okay, I'm not counting exactly. And how many would object to that? I think it's about 50-50 actually. So we still have we still got that one undecided? And if so, he is a swing voter! Pounce on him! Well, look, may I thank all of you for coming today. May I thank Ian Hayter, as I said earlier on, for giving us this wonderful venue, and it is a lovely venue, and for switching the lights off. May I also thank Low Carbon Lichfield and the Whittington and Fisherwick Environment Group. May I also thank people for suggesting that I be called a statesman. I thought that was even better than legislator. But in particular, I want to thank Professor Peter Stiles. I want to thank David Rowe from IEP, the Independent Environmental Projects, Phil Good from the Campaign for Rural England, Conservation of Rural England. Have I got it right? Protection of Rural finally, Nigel Tongue from, I've got to say with an American accent, because